guys, welcome to Kathy's Crafty Creations and DIYs. We're going to jump right into DIY number 1 because we have a lot to cover today. Okay, I have one of the Mary signs from Dollar Tree, some flag red apple barrel paint, and I've got my paintbrush. And what I did was mixed up a little bit of the black apple barrel paint with a dab of that flag red, with a dab with the black. And I mixed it up because I didn't like the bright red. I wanted more of a muted, darker, kind of maroony tone there. So I'm mixing it up here to get my perfect color. And once I got the color that I liked, I gave it only one coat all over, except for on the reindeer's head. I cut off my tags, and I also gave the back one good coat. I decided to use the ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby, the black and white buffalo check. I only wanted his head to be covered. I wanted to do his antlers in black. So I put the Mod Podge about halfway up, and I put a pretty good thick coat, and I laid my ribbon down. I took the color black in the apple barrel and just painted his antlers really good and got on the inside also. When it was good and dry, I took my X-Acto knife and I cut out around the head. And if you will wait until it's 100% totally dry, that X-Acto knife will cut it like butter. It gets a little difficult whenever you get around some of those little funny edges there. All you have to do is flip it over and use that X-Acto knife, and it should cut right out with no problem. To get a perfectly straight edge, I took my ruler and I went right across right there so I could have a perfect edge going across. And sometimes I do this. I take my finger whenever I'm doing my top coat, especially things like this when I'm working with different fabrics. And I just covered it really well. And then I use that X-Acto knife to trim up just the very last edges. This is one of those little sprigs that I used before that I got from Amazon. And I simply just glued that onto the top. Now it's time for the bow. I'm not a very good bow maker, so what I did was just simply made a circle, if you will, and I glued that together at the bottom. And then I took another smaller piece and I folded it and I put that around the middle part to give it a more finished look. Then I straightened my bow up just a little bit. After I fooled with my bow for a while, I simply just hot glued that on the top. And then I applied a little bit more because it didn't want to stick at first. And there it is. This turned out so cute, guys. Is that not cute? It's time for DIY number 2. This is a cutout of a Christmas tree that I got at a thrift store. I'm going to use the evergreen color from Apple Barrel. And I put my first coat down and I realized that this had like a shellac over the top of it and it was not going to take the paint. So I gave it a good sanding with my sanding sponge. And then I wiped it off really well. And then I continued to paint. And after I had sanded, it took the paint great. After sanding it down really well, I went ahead and painted the other side. And it took about 2 coats because where it had that shellac finish over it, it just needed that extra coverage. When I got everything finished up, I took my little dryer here, and guys, if you don't have one of these, I will leave it in the description below. They're about 10 to 15 bucks off of Amazon. They're awesome. And I took my antiquing wax from Waverly, and this is the stand that the tree will sit on, and I gave it a really good coat. I believe that this kit, I bought it at a thrift store, but I believe that it came from Lowe's originally, and I couldn't tell you how much it was because I didn't purchase it there. It was actually made for a child, and it came in 2 pieces of board, and you cut the tree out yourself and then paint it or do as you wish. I also did a little bit of the antiquing wax on my tree and wiped it off immediately because I didn't want too much of a coverage there. I put my tree back together and slid it down onto the stand, and then I just fixed up a few of the spots that needed it. This bow is a pre-made bow that I had purchased at the Dollar General, and then I took that beaded garland in red from Dollar Tree and I wrapped it around this. It's made from a wire, so it's super easy to do. And I thought it was cute as could be, but it still needed something. And I took those small pine cones from the Dollar Tree and I put those on each of the little branches that's sticking out. And then to top it off, I took one of those little sprigs again and kind of pulled it apart and stuck that right in the middle of my bow. And guys, here she is. It turned out beautiful for only $2. You know, you can get a lot of things at a thrift store and just make it up to your own decor the way that you like it. It's cheaper that way, and it will go to your taste. Time for DIY number 3. This is a platter that I have made with a previous DIY, and it's already been used before, so we just painted it white. And I'm going to take my Mod Podge and cover the top of it because I decided to use these stickers that I got from Dollar General. I took the word farm and put it at the top. And then I took the words spruce, pine, and fir, cut and carry, and then established 1915, and I put the 2 little trees on the top, and then I covered and sealed all around the edges with the Mod Podge. I took the apple barrel flag red and went around the edges because I felt that it still needed something, and this really made it pop. It was beautiful. So I just covered that edge with the flag red. I made sure to get the sides really well because it was scalloped, and each side, each little divot needed to be touched with that paint, and it really was beautiful. And I dried it off really well. This whole DIY only cost $2. I took a smaller paintbrush and went inside the edge so I could get a perfect line around. I also decided to use the paintbrush and make little circles, little dots on my trees to look like little holly berries. Guys, this DIY is finished for $2. It is a beautiful little Christmas tray. I'm still new to YouTube, guys, and I would like to ask you to give me a thumbs up and like my video. And my little pug says, please, Lord, send some subscribers. And it is time for DIY number 4. I got these at the Dollar General for only $1. It is 3 wooden cutouts of trees, and we're going to use the evergreen and apple barrel, and we're going to give each one just one coat. I wanted to show you how easy it is to put those together. All you do is just put a little bit of hot glue inside that and slide it together. And if some glue seeps out, just give it a little rub after the glue is dry and it will come right off. I'm going to speed up here so you don't have to watch, just all I'm doing is painting these. And then when they're all finished, we have our little paint brushes here and we're going to do some antiquing and make it look a little rustic. This is Valspar. I paid about $15 for this jar and it goes a really long way. It is a Valspar antiquing glaze. To me, it's just like the antiquing wax. I don't really notice much of a difference. So you basically do it the same way. You rub it on and you rub it off. I would leave it on just a few more moments longer than what I did, but I didn't want much distressing, so I didn't leave it on very long at all. And guys, these turned out beautiful. Here they are. They were so cute, and only $1 for the 3 of them. Time for DIY number 5. I have a tray here that I already had for a previous DIY, and it was orange. I had it from the fall. So I just took and spray painted it white, and I'm going to take this bag. It came from the Dollar General store for $2, and I have my Mod Podge and my scissors and my paintbrush, and I just take the front of this bag. You don't take the end that's folded. You cut the front part off, and then I'm going to measure to see how much I need before I can stick it down inside that tray. We're just going to Mod Podge it on there. So I take my tray and I lay it down on top of the bag, and I draw a line around it so I can see where to cut. I realized that I couldn't use my little cutter there that makes a perfect straight edge, so I just cut the scissors with the scissors and got it in there. And when I decided that it was the right size, I used that Loctite spray adhesive, sprayed the back of it, and laid it down on there, and it just went down like a glove. I took my garland ties from the Dollar General store and I made it in a circle for a little wreath to go along the top, and I gave it a little haircut because it makes it look better. And when I got it where I wanted it, I gave it a little spray of that fake snow so it could look snowy. Then I took one of those little sprigs that I got from Amazon, pulled the little red berries off of it, and glued it onto my wreath for holly berries. It was so cute. This baker's twine came from the Dollar General for $1, and I made a little bow and put it on the top. Earlier, I had taken a popsicle stick and glued it to the back of one of those little sprigs so I could get it in the top left-hand corner, and then I just used my glue gun to put it down. This is my favorite part. I found this fence at Hobby Lobby, and I only paid like $2 for it, and it's about 3 times as long as the length you see here. I just cut it off to fit, and I hot glued it down to look like a little fence in the front. And guys, I transformed this $2 tray that I got at Goodwill into the cutest little scene. Look at this. It is so adorable. I love, love, love this. It's my favorite DIY of all of these. If you stuck around to the very end, thank you so much. And I ask again if you would give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you in the family. And here is everything all together, guys. Well, that's the end of this video, and I'm so glad that you stayed to the end. Thank you guys so much, and God bless you. You have a great day.